Hey everyone, ready to dive into the world of freelance SEO. Today, we're cracking open Charles Float's ebook, The Six-Figure Freelance SEO.
Definitely. It's packed with actionable advice, even if you're just starting out.
So, no more fluff, right? Let's get into it. Charles seems pretty adamant about niching down early on.
Yeah, he's all about that laser focus. Instead of being a jack-of-all-trades SEO, become the go-to expert in a specific niche. Like, think about it. Would you rather be the best SEO for sustainable clothing brands or just another face in the general SEO crowd?
Makes sense. But how do you actually choose a profitable niche? I feel like some people just stumble into them.
Well, sure, sometimes it happens organically, but Charles provides a really practical method using tools like Google Trends and Ahrefs. He actually uses this great example in the book, comparing pest control to personal injury lawyer.
Interesting comparison. Most people would assume lawyers have more money to spend on SEO.
Right. But he digs deeper, showing how the sheer volume of keywords related to pest control, plus the consistent need for those services, makes it surprisingly lucrative.
So it's not just about who has the deepest pockets, but also where the demand is high and consistent.
Smart.
Right.
Okay, so you found your niche. Now what about pricing? That always feels like a bit of a minefield.
He breaks down two main approaches, going cheap and cheerful, or positioning yourself as the premium option. But honestly, we all know underselling is tempting, especially at the beginning.
Oh, tell me about it. You want to attract those first few clients, but not undervalue your skills either. Exactly. That's where social proof comes in. Even more than just listing your rates, think testimonials from past clients, even if they're from previous jobs, or detailed case studies showing off the results you've delivered.
And he actually shares his own pricing journey in the ebook, starting at like $15 an hour as a teenager and eventually working his way up to $1,000 an hour.
It's a great example of how building credibility and showcasing your value can lead to serious income growth.
Okay, so niche, check. Pricing, dot check. Now, the big question, how do you actually find clients who are willing to pay those prices?
Charles has some interesting insights on client acquisition. Referrals are great, but he also dives into job boards. He even mentions that he still uses Upwork despite the 20% fee because the volume of clients is worth it for him.
See, that's interesting. Sometimes you have to go where the clients are, even if it means adapting your strategy a bit.
Exactly. And he's a big advocate for utilizing search engines, which, as SEO experts, is kind of a no-brainer.
Makes sense. Optimizing your own website to rank for relevant keywords is crucial. SEO freelancer, your niche, or SEO consultant, your city, those are gold mines for attracting targeted clients.
He breaks it down step by step. You find sites in your niche with low traffic or poor rankings, then reach out with a personalized pitch. He even suggests using Ahrefs to analyze the competition.
That's super actionable. But there's another big one I'm curious about, cold emailing. I think a lot of freelancers find it intimidating.
He dedicates a whole chapter to it, his secret, personalization. He even includes this step-by-step process for finding potential clients, analyzing their websites, and crafting emails that actually address their pain points. No more generic blasts.
So it's all about demonstrating you've done your homework and understand their needs. Okay, let's say those emails work their magic and the clients are rolling in. How do you keep track of everything? Asking for a friend who might be organizationally challenged.
Well, Charles is all about those project management tools. He's a huge fan of ClickUp, which is free and incredibly versatile. It's not just about to-do lists. It's about managing tasks, deadlines, files, even collaborating with clients, all in one place.
I've actually jumped on the ClickUp bandwagon recently, and it's been a game changer for my productivity, especially juggling multiple projects.
Exactly. And that's what Charles emphasizes. Find a system that works for you and helps you stay on top of everything.
So we've got the tools to stay organized, but what about actually delivering those projects in a way that makes clients happy and keeps them coming back for more?
Charles talks about the importance of setting expectations up front, and communication is key. Discussing things like timelines, communication styles, and specific deliverables. That way, everyone's on the same page and you can avoid those scope creep situations.
Speaking of communication styles, I once had this client who wanted to communicate solely through carrier pigeon.
Wait, seriously?
Just kidding. But it highlights the point everyone has their preferences, and discussing them up front can save you from some serious headaches later on. Okay, time to talk about everyone's favorite part, getting paid. Any tips on handling those conversations smoothly, especially when it comes to, actually receiving those payments on time?
Charles dives into the nitty-gritty of getting paid, which is refreshing. He breaks down the pros and cons of different payment gateways like PayPal, Payoneer, and Wise.
It's like having a financial advisor for freelancers.
Right. He also gives solid advice on negotiating payment terms, like requiring a deposit upfront or breaking up payments into milestones. It protects you and ensures you're getting paid for your time.
Now, speaking of protecting yourself and thinking bigger, Charles encourages freelancers to build a team, even if you're starting solo. It seems counterintuitive, but his reasoning makes sense.
It does. As freelancers, we wear so many hats. We're the SEO specialist, the marketer, the accountant, the customer service rep, you name it. It's easy to get bogged down.
Seriously, some days it feels like I spend more time on admin tasks than I do on actual SEO work.
Exactly. That's where even a small team can be game-changing. Charles suggests starting with a virtual assistant or VA to handle those repetitive tasks. Think uploading blog posts, managing social media, even some basic keyword research.
Freeing you up to focus on the high-level work that brings in the big bucks.
And he even recommends onlinejobs.th for finding talented VAs, particularly from the Philippines. It aligns with his whole remote team philosophy.
It's about working smarter, not harder.
Exactly. And he takes it a step further, suggesting you outsource to specialized freelancers as you grow. So if a client needs link building or content writing, you don't have to turn them away. You can bring in trusted professionals to expand your services.
It's like building your own mini agency, but with more flexibility.
Exactly. Of course, he stresses the importance of training, setting clear expectations, and maintaining quality control.
It all comes back to those systems, right? Systems that allow you to scale without burning out. Speaking of systems, this is where Charles introduces what he calls next-level freelancing.
It's like shifting from just doing the work yourself to building a well-oiled machine that works for you.
Okay, I'm hooked. Tell me more about this whole next-level freelancing thing.
It's about taking a step back and really dissecting every single task in your business. Like really break it down. Then you ask yourself, can I automate this? Or can someone else do this just as well? The idea is to free yourself from those repetitive tasks that eat up your time.
So you can focus on the big picture stuff that actually brings in the big bucks. Makes sense.
Right. One of the examples he gives is using a service called SEO Builder to streamline citation building for local SEO. It's essential, but tedious.
Oh, tell me about it. Citation building makes me want to pull my hair out sometimes.
SEO Builder automates the entire process, saves you hours of manual work.
I've heard good things about it. He also talks about Pitchbox, right? For outreach.
Yes. It's another favorite of his for automating and managing those link outreach campaigns. It's all about finding the right tools to do the heavy lifting for you. He even includes a freelancer's toolbox section in the ebook with recommendations for everything from project management to communication tools.
He's practically giving away his secret sauce. I love that he's so transparent with his process. Speaking of transparency, I noticed he touches on burnout, which I think a lot of freelancers can relate to.
He does.
Yeah.
And I appreciate his take on it. He's all about carving out time for passion projects or finding ways to use your skills in different ways.
It's like having multiple income streams or side hustles,
Oh.
right? Keeps things interesting and prevents you from putting all your eggs in one basket.
Exactly. He even talks about how your freelance SEO skills can open doors to other opportunities, like affiliate marketing, starting your own online business, or even partnering with businesses as a consultant or investor.
So it's not just about freelancing, it's about creating a career that's multifaceted and aligned with your passions.
Absolutely. And to really drive that point home, he talks about the importance of personal branding, especially in the age of social media.
Which, let's be honest, can feel like a full-time job on its own. It's tough to balance building a personal brand while juggling client work.
For sure, it's a lot to handle. But Charles breaks it down into manageable steps, like optimizing your LinkedIn profile, networking with other professionals in your niche, even aiming to get featured in industry publications.
It's about positioning yourself as an expert and providing value.
Precisely. And speaking of providing value, clear reporting is crucial, and Charles really emphasizes that. He's a big fan of Google Data Studio for creating visually appealing reports that clients actually understand.
Data visualization is so powerful. It reminds me of this time I was pitching my services, and the potential client was blown away by my reports. They were used to these dull spreadsheets from their previous SEO, but I presented these awesome interactive dashboards in Data Studio, and they were sold.
It's amazing what a difference presentation can make. Plus, Data Studio is free, which is a huge bonus.
Right. Show, don't tell. Instead of just saying, hey, I improved your website traffic, you're presenting the data in a way that's both impressive and easy to digest.
And it all ties into Charles's overall philosophy. Go above and beyond just the SEO work. Demonstrate your value and build genuine relationships with your clients.
Because those relationships lead to those long-term contracts and referrals that every freelancer dreams of.
Exactly. And while we're talking about dreams, one of the things that stood out to me in the ebook was Charles's focus on mindset.
Mindset. You mean like having a positive attitude?
It's more than just being positive, although that definitely helps. He dives into the importance of confidence, resilience, and embracing the ups and downs of freelance life.
It's funny you mentioned mindset because as we wrap up our deep dive into the six-figure freelance SEO, that's exactly what stood out to me too.
It's often overlooked, right? We get so caught up in the technical aspects and the strategies that we forget about the mental game.
It's like having all the best tools and strategies in the world, but if your head isn't in the right place, it's not going to matter much.
Right. And Charles doesn't shy away from the tough stuff either. He talks about those moments of self-doubt, the sting of rejection when you lose a client, and that ever-present imposter syndrome.
Oh, the imposter syndrome. It's like this constant voice whispering, who are you kidding? You're not a real SEO expert.
It's so common, though, even for experienced freelancers. The key is to acknowledge those thoughts, but not let them take over.
So how do you develop that kind of unshakable confidence?
He talks a lot about building resilience, being able to bounce back from setbacks. Because let's face it, freelancing has its ups and downs.
Totally. It's a roller coaster ride for sure. But it's about riding those waves and coming out stronger, right?
Exactly. And that ties into another thing he stresses, celebrating the wins no matter how small. It's easy to get caught up in the hustle and forget to acknowledge your achievements.
Oh, for sure. Like, woo, I sent out all my invoices on time. Okay, maybe not that small, but you get the idea.
Exactly. It's those small victories that keep you motivated. At the end of the day, Charles reminds us that success boils down to passion and dedication. If you truly love SEO and are willing to put in the work, the rest will follow.
I love that. It's so simple yet so powerful. When you're genuinely excited about what you're doing, it doesn't feel like work. It's a journey.
Exactly. And that's what makes this ebook so inspiring. It's not just a guide to freelance SEO. It's a roadmap to creating a fulfilling and sustainable career on your own terms.
It's about freedom, flexibility, and the satisfaction of building something from scratch. And I think that's what draws so many people to the freelance life.
Absolutely. So for anyone listening who's inspired to take that leap into freelance SEO, what would you say is the most important takeaway from Charles's book?
You know, after all we've discussed, I think the biggest takeaway is that you don't have to have it all figured out to start. Just take that first step, even if it's just defining your niche or setting up a website. You'll learn and adapt as you go.
Couldn't agree more. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, ask for help, and never stop learning.
And on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive into the six-figure freelance SEO. Hopefully you've walked away with some valuable insights and maybe even a little extra motivation.
To all those aspiring freelance SEO gurus out there, we're cheering you on.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and we'll catch you on our next deep dive.